In this video, we will be analyzing the Internet Movie Database ratings of The Clone Wars and The Bad Batch, and comparing both shows. We will also be making a list of the top-rated seasons of these two shows to see where The Bad Batch scales up against The Clone Wars. First, some context. The atmospheres of these two shows are very different. One explores the impact of a galaxy-wide war on the people, while the other focuses on the rise of a new form of government. In both shows, the vast majority of episodes put commentary on their environment. In The Clone Wars, we see the impact of the war on the Jedi, clones, Sith, bounty hunters, and dozens of worlds. Two examples of The Bad Batch exploring its main topic are the episodes Common Ground and Cut and Run, where the lives of regular Imperial citizens are explored. A key difference, though, between the two shows is the main focus. And you can tell this by the title of the two shows. The Clone Wars is a show about the Clone Wars, the event that's going on. So it has much more freedom to go to different places. The Bad Batch, however, is more focused on the 6 characters in the Bad Batch, and therefore it's limited in what it can explore in the time period. And so the Clone Wars really takes that freedom of being named the Clone Wars to go to a much broader scale. And so we see, just in the first season, we see Yoda, Plo Koon, Anakin, Obi-Wan, Mace Windu, and even Count Dooku lead episodes of their own. So the use of existing developed characters helps attract audiences and keep them engaged. And that was something that was really going for the Clone Wars at the very beginning, because people had seen these characters in the prequel trilogy and had grown to love them. The Clone Wars added depth and development to these already beloved characters. And in that way, it already had a fan base before it even came out. Compare that to The Bad Batch, which only had a 4-episode arc in the Clone Wars to introduce its main characters. And even those 4 episodes portrayed the Bad Batch very stereotypically, with nearly no individual development as characters. But the reputation of the Clone Wars and the absolute masterpiece known as Season 7 created a good starting point for the interest in the Bad Batch. Not as good as the prequel trilogy created for the Clone Wars series, but still a solid starting point. The Bad Batch was also released in 2021, with animation that blows the 2008 animation out of the water. So now, let's look at some data. The first graph we're going to see shows the IMDB ratings of the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch Season 1, as the season progresses. So we can see here that the Bad Batch Season 1 has a higher average episode rating than the Clone Wars. It also has much higher peaks, including the premiere, which was rated to 8.9, the mid-season finale, rated 8.8, and the 15th episode, Return to Kamino, rated 8.9 as well. The Clone Wars Season 1 doesn't have any episodes rated above 8.5. Its best one of my personal favorite episodes, is Lair of Grievous, rated 8.1. Now, to many, this doesn't really come as a surprise, because when The Clone Wars was first released, its ratings weren't that good. And many people agree that The Bad Batch so far has been the best first season of Star Wars animation. So let's move on to Season 2. As of episode 10 of Season 2, the ratings of The Bad Batch Season 2 have been very inconsistent. Season 2 contains the highest and lowest rated episodes of The Bad Batch. So both seasons start off with a stellar episode, Aftermath in Season 1 and The Solitary Clone in Season 2. Then we see a drop in ratings for both Season 1 and Season 2, and then it comes back up for the mid-season finale. It is very common for shows to have a very strong mid-season and a very strong beginning and a very strong ending. But for The Bad Batch, it seems that these episodes are significantly better than the regular episodes in the series. And as we're at episode 10 right now in The Bad Batch, we do see that drop after the mid-season finale. It does happen in Season 1 as well. It's happened in Season 2. If Season 2 follows Season 1, we can expect a great finale and some good episodes leading up to it. But hopefully we don't get another Roland Durant situation. And again, because we're not through Season 2, it's hard to say which one's better. But at the moment, Season 1 has the higher overall rating, with an average episode rating of 7.9 compared to 7.5 for Season 2. And that leads us into what we're going to be talking about next. And so the Bad Batch Season 1's ratings, 7.9 average, are on par with those of the Clone Wars Season 4 and Season 6, both of which are considered top-tier Clone Wars seasons. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that The Bad Batch Season 1 is as good as these Clone Wars seasons to the same audience. It merely means that the respective audiences consider them to be at the same level. There are many explanations for why the ratings are the same. One could be that fewer people watch The Bad Batch, and the people who do watch it are truly interested. The other possibility is that The Bad Batch Season 1 is truly as good as Clone Wars Season 4 and Season 6, and that we are just so blinded by nostalgia that we refuse to admit this. Season 4 is the home of my favorite Clone Wars arc, the arc of Umbara, but it's also the season where 3PO and R2 wandered meaninglessly for 35 minutes. The Bad Batch may have fillers, for which it's heavily criticized, but so did the Clone Wars. So, though I personally don't think so, they could genuinely be equal in quality. With that in mind, I don't think it's crazy to say that The Bad Batch could become Clone Wars level, because to a degree it already has. Here are the rankings for all the seasons of the Clone Wars, all 7 seasons, and the 2 seasons of The Bad Batch that are out so far. I did include The Bad Batch Season 2, but be sure to make sure that you take the information with a grain of salt because Bad Batch Season 2 is not fully out yet, and I definitely expect it to get better as the finale comes in. So we have the Clone Wars Season 1 at last place, The Bad Batch Season 2 at second last, which I definitely think it's going to go higher as I've expressed before, but as of right now it's there. We got the Clone Wars Season 2 coming up after that. Then we have the Clone Wars Season 3. Then we have the Bad Batch Season 1 with a rating of 7.893 on average. And coming up after that at only 7.904 is the Clone Wars Season 4. So very, very close together, these 2 seasons are at least. Then taking the bronze, we have the Clone Wars Season 6 with a 7.938 overall rating. And coming in silver, we have the Clone Wars Season 5 with a 7.985 rating. And then taking the gold, as you may have predicted, the Clone Wars Season 7. Even with the Martez Sisters arc, it still pulls up an 8.12 overall rating. With only 1.5 seasons out, I think The Bad Batch has already proven itself as a worthy successor to the Clone Wars. And even though this whole video was about comparing the 2 shows, just remember that regardless of which one will end up as the better show, both are amazing and both have positively impacted a lot of people. I hope you enjoyed my analysis of these 2 excellent shows, and I hope you are as excited as I am about the future of Star Wars. Thank you so much for watching. And if you made it here, please let me know if you like my videos more or my YouTube shorts more. Thank you.